All right, hey, what's up, guys? This is round 2 on introducing this podcast. So, Chris Fluck Podcast, episode 41. I just had it. We talked for about 2 minutes, and then I was like, I didn't put the phone on airplane mode. If somebody calls me, totally destroying everything. So, Robin, hey, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So this is Robin
Again,
Houston.
For the second time.
We're gonna run through this quick. Well, no, whatever. So, Robin, background. We want to know childhood, high school, college, all that stuff. Tell us just where you got into
real
as
quick.
growing
Okay.
up.
So
No, it doesn't have to be quick because they didn't hear the previous part.
previous
Only I
part,
did.
okay.
So take
cool.
your time.
So as a kid, I dabbled in it all. I did a little bit of everything. I danced. I played sports. I was outside, just really active kid. Through high school, I played tennis, volleyball, basketball, and lacrosse. I also danced through high school.
I was going to ask you the same questions.
I danced through high school. It was a lot. I did it all. I danced till my junior year of high school.
Yes.
And then, I just got burned out.
So you played lacrosse.
Yeah, played lacrosse.
I was just going to ask the same question I asked earlier, but felt dumb because we just talked about it. Lacrosse was big down in that area.
Yes, lacrosse was big. Yeah.
So Delaware County. You went to
Montgomery County.
Montgomery
County. Yeah.
So that's District 1.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking Penridge, Sauderton, that area.
Yeah. Yep. North Penn. Yeah.
Should we give a shout out to the Warriors again? Or not?
Warriors, back to Warriors. Yeah.
All right. So I think we're good. We're caught up.
We're caught up.
So you decided. So you went to college. Then you were burned out. Let's get into the basketball thing quick. So you played.
Okay. Sure. Yeah.
How long did you play? I mean, we're talking.
Yeah,
from
you had asked me
little girl,
previously. Yeah. So I played from since I was a kid. It was my favorite. I loved it. I was really into it. Though, like I said, when I was 16, I had a partial laminectomy, which is the back pieces of my spine didn't fuse together. The back little fins that stick off the back of your spine, they didn't fuse. They needed to come out. It was a lot. It was a lot to come back from, to still, put that stress on your body and to dance and to do the whole thing. You leave school like 2:30, you get home at 9, trying to get your homework in. I took all AP courses and did the whole thing, the whole honors program. So It was too much. I was totally burned out by the end of my junior year. I saw it through. I saw basketball through my senior year, but when it came time to go to college, I was done. So I ended up walking on to the tennis team in college.
Where did you go to college?
Fairleigh Dickinson University.
All right. So when you went to college, what was your tennis experience prior?
I was kind of like a country club player, I'd say. I played in summers. I took lessons through as a kid. I never played in any leagues.
But more of an athlete.
Than a tennis player. Yeah.
Were you able to pick it up fairly quickly because of your athletic background?
Yeah. I mean, I had lessons as a kid. I played, like I said, growing up, but it wasn't anything where I'm traveling for tournaments or that wasn't my focus.
So I practically repeat the same stuff over and over on this, but it's basically the fact that you just had this wide skill set.
Yeah.
Then when you did need to specialize and kind of hone it in on tennis skill, because you already had the foundation, you were able to pick it up a lot quicker.
Yeah. I think I just had the advantage of just being a really strong athlete.
Yeah.
So did I have a lot of finesse? No, but I was just really strong and could kind of fake it.
Yeah.
So.
I've got this crazy story. When I was in college, I thought I was going to dominate the tennis class that I was taking, but then some 45-year-old
At what,
guy.
like 5'7", you're going to dominate?
Well, no, it was just class. No,
Okay.
it was just my class. It was
gotcha.
It was like a one credit thing, so
Okay.
it wasn't. Anyway, this 45-year-old Chinese guy that didn't speak English beat me because I couldn't hit a serve. He was putting this crazy English on me. So I just thought I could I was like, I'm going to win this thing. I was feeling good about myself. And then this guy that
learned
didn't
a little
speak
lesson
English
about
just smoked me. Yeah,
learned a
finesse.
lesson about skill. Yeah.
It's like, all right, I guess you can't just run around and try to win this thing.
That's right, yeah.
So then after college, what are we talking then? 4 years? Fairleigh Dickinson?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep, all 4 years there.
What was the major?
Communications management. Yeah.
Communications management.
Yeah,
All right.
It's going to be in communications. I want to go into public relations or marketing or something like that. I graduated in 2008, and the market was really bad then. It was really bad. So I took a break just from fitness at that time, from everything, trying to find a job, trying to figure out what I was going to do. Went to work part-time a little bit for my uncle. He has a construction company. And
What did you do there?
I was an assistant manager for some. Yeah,
so not like heavy machinery.
No.
Like putting on roofs.
He's a general contractor. Yeah. So so just kind of did that for a little bit until I kind of found some direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found some direction, and then like I said, I took a break from working out. You just kind of needed a reset. And kind of got sucked in by Pete Myers, who owns Myers Team Fitness, on the kettlebells, and that's kind of was my first introduction in 2009 to the kettlebell.
Where is that gym located?
Kinetic Sports Club. It's in Fairview Village in Montgomery County. Yeah.
Right.
You know where Collegeville is?
Kind of.
Yeah, Ursinus College.
We're
We're right around the corner from Ursinus College.
So I think then I didn't really get into how, well, 4 or 5 years ago I worked at a different gym, and then there's like, I mean, you were in there in the early mornings probably.
Yeah.
But I remember just seeing like somebody whipping kettlebells around.
Yeah.
And at the time I was pretty much into kettlebells, and then talked to you and you're like, well, that you said that you had like the RKC thing, and I was like, oh Jesus.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really know anybody that ever
Yeah,
got
kettlebells
that.
weren't real mainstream at that point. I remember talking to people that I get on it when I had first started training on them, and they go, well, what is, there was right on the, what's a cowbell? I'm like, no, it's not a cowbell, it's a kettlebell.
Yeah.
And trying to explain it to him, be like, well, think of like a cannonball with an iron suitcase handle.
Yeah.
So yeah, they weren't real mainstream at that point.
But they're definitely.
It was a pretty wild experience though.
It's not that. I mean, the certification you have to physically be able to do the test, and there's also written test.
There's a written test. We had to do something called the grad walk. So 2 12-kilo kettlebells you had to walk and press up and down a football field.
So 100 yards down.
100 yards back.
100 yards back. Every step is a press.
Every step is a press.
Is there a pause in there?
Yes.
So for females, it was 25 pounds?
Yeah, it's 25. Yeah, 12 kilos, so it's 25 pounds.
20s?
Yeah, they were, the grad walk was 16s for males. And then we also had to pass the snatch test, 100 snatches in under 5 minutes. For the women, it was a 16-kilo kettlebell. For the men, it was a 24.
So let's talk about training for that, because my shoulders would totally die if I tried to do probably 100 right now. So getting prepared for that, was that through Pete Myers?
That was through Pete Myers.
Did he help you?
He was the one that
just take you to the football field and made you walk and press, basically?
Yeah, he kind of has a drill sergeant approach. Really kind of amazing dude. There was no, you don't give up. There was no, with him, it was just, it was a very grind experience. And it was kind of the first time that I had experienced somebody that was like, I'm going to grind you into the ground, and you are going to build yourself back up.
What was his background though? Like, where'd that come from?
Yeah, so he's a state trooper, and he did a lot of the physical training for state troopers in Montgomery County.
So he just treated you like you were probably
like I was, like us,
officer.
like we were going through his program at the state troopers.
So other than like totally just beating you down with stuff, like what like, it wasn't like, hey, we're going to the field and you're doing it, or was there like some like strategic training involved as well?
I'd like to think that he had a plan for us.
It wasn't like, let's just destroy this girl.
Yeah, I think his plan, there were 3 of us that went through it with me, 2 guys that I went to high school with. So I think his plan was to get us to pass this RKC. I mean, we trained for about 18 months just to take the RKC cert.
Pretty legitimate.
It was pretty wild. Yeah, it was, and to get me there, it wasn't just like, hey, let's figure out a snatch 16 kilos, 100 times in 5 minutes. It was like, hey, I'm going to get you to snatch a 20 kilo 100 times in under 5 minutes. That way, when it came time to perform, we could perform.
What do you think you could do before that? So 16 kilogram kettlebell. The first time you ever tried the 5-minute test, what do you think you did?
I probably got about 60. I got about 60.
Was that kind of discouraging? Have you been training for a few months and were like, oh, I think I could do this?
Yeah, I think I could do it. Yeah, I think I probably got about, my hands were totally bloody at that point. I remember there was a time I actually had blood on my hands, just like, it tears them up. You get over that. That's like, your viewers are like, oh my God, this girl's crazy. No, you get over that. No, it was a little discouraging, but like I said, Pete's mindset was, you are not giving up. You're coming back and we're doing this again. You're coming back and we're doing this again. And in his mind, he knew I didn't know I was going to fail. He knew I was going to fail. So in his mind, I succeeded just because I completed it. Yeah. I got through 5 minutes. And it was like I said, it was the first time I'd had that somebody give me that mentality of like, I'm going to push you to failure, but that's good. That's a good thing, because you learned a lesson here and you learned where we're at and where we need to be. So it was an eye-opening as far as somebody who had spent their entire life in athletics working out, to have that experience of like, oh, it's okay to fail. It's okay to fail, and I learned something out of that failure. Yeah.
Did you respond well to that kind of coaching, like even growing up?
Did you like
the coaches that were like?
I didn't growing up. I can't say that I did growing up.
And then it might have just been something unique and special.
It was just unique and special about him. Yeah, I think so. And I think it was also, like I said, I was going through with 2 other men, and I think it was also very different when women are put through that, and you're surrounded by a group of women, and they generally don't respond well to that type of training, but men respond well to that. So being in an atmosphere where the men that I was training with responded well to that, I was like, oh, it's okay for me to respond well to this, like, in your face kind of experience.
Yeah.
Where previously that's just, I that was kind of frowned on.
Yeah.
Especially as, like, you're like 16, 17 years old, and, you're not really coached that way. So.
Well, maybe too, like, you probably maybe sensed that he did have your back and like cared. It wasn't
he
just
did,
like he was yelling at you just to yell.
Yeah, it was a sense
something.
of camaraderie.
Cool.
Yeah, I think a sense of camaraderie and community, and I think that makes a difference now. Like, even as adults train, I think having a sense of community where you're in a space that, people have your back. I think that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes a huge difference.
Well,
so,
I think that is what coaching is.
Yeah, isn't that what coaching is? Isn't that what I was
Yeah.
going to say? Isn't that what you do here? Yeah.
Now it's kind of like the conversation we had about. I was just telling you that I coach some sports and whatever, and kind of transitioned into working with kids, and I think that is part of the reason that I didn't want to continue coaching some sports, because it was like, it wasn't that. It was like just too much selfishness and like egos were involved. Where it's like, well, their kids are like 15, like it's okay.
Do you think the coaching, the way kids are being coached now is different from the way that, maybe 20 years ago we were being coached?
I don't think so.
No, you don't think so?
No, but I think everybody thinks that.
Okay.
Like, our peers might think that, right?
Okay.
Do you think that?
I do. I
Right.
feel like kids are being coached differently, maybe. Now,
No, maybe they are, but like, I didn't think I had wonderful coaches growing up.
Okay, yeah. I didn't.
So it could be different, but I don't think that like the coaching I think it is different, but it's not like a huge offset. I don't think I had like great coaching growing up. Do you?
I was going to say I had maybe two good coaches growing up. I had two really good coaches.
I mean, primarily for me, it's like parents,
Yeah.
somebody's dad, because it was football, dads usually,
Yep.
wrestling.
Mhm. Yep.
Wrestling was dads. Then we got to middle school. Our numbers were very down. They barely could find a coach. High school team wasn't that great.
Isn't that discouraging though, as a kid? You can't
Yeah,
find
but
a
right
coach
now
that
that same program at Saucon Valley, they just won a district title last night, and there was
That's
crazy controversy. Did you read about it at all?
Not yet. No. Tell me. What's the
Cool.
controversy?
So here's the deal. Notre Dame is a high school that is a private school.
Right.
Saucon Valley is a public school.
Yep.
They've been doing really well. So Coach Shirk, who maybe one day we'll get him on here because he's a great coach. He was an assistant even when I was in high school, but he was young at the time, maybe right out of college. So he's probably been the head coach for like 15 years. I coached with him for 5 or 6 years with the junior high, so grades 7 and 9.
Okay.
So at this point in time, it was pretty early in his coaching tenure where it was all about getting kids out. So we made the big emphasis, especially in the sport of wrestling, we would wrestle some teams and they would only have like 3 or 4 kids on it as a junior high program.
Okay.
So it's like, how are you going to be good in high school if you can only get 3 or 4? So,
Kids, yeah.
and it's small. All these schools are small. They're like Northwestern size.
Yep,
They're Saucon
small.
size,
Yep.
same league. We had 20 plus kids. So we were winning in the league because we had 20 plus kids. But then we got to the point that we were winning because we were facing other teams. We were facing Emmaus. We were facing Parkland
bigger
and Beaverville.
schools.
We're
Yeah.
going up against Northampton. So over the years, you get 5 new kids out. 1 or 2 of those kids is going to be good.
It's gonna be
so
good, yeah,
that was
yeah.
the focus to kind of, for him as the head coach, to do that. Now he's at a point where they won, I think, 4 or 5 straight district titles. I think it's 5. They would have had more, but before that they wrestled Bethlehem Catholic, who's a
Okay.
school that recruited, which is the big knock. This town is like, they get all up in arms because private schools are beating them, which is fine. People could have their own opinions. They lost to Becker like 2 or 3 years in a row in the finals. So
Okay.
Saucon has been in the district championship maybe like 8 years in a row.
Okay.
Notre Dame, they get a new coach. They start
Okay.
bringing in kids.
Kids,
This guy
yeah,
has a
they're
wrestling club. He's from Blair Academy, pretty accomplished high school wrestler, pretty accomplished club coach. So now a lot of the kids that wrestled in his club
Okay.
are now going to Notre Dame to
Going
wrestle
to
for
his
him
school,
because he's
yeah.
a good coach.
Yeah.
He's a great coach. I think he does really well. This is his second year. Last year, they almost beat Saucon. This year they beat Saucon the first 2 times.
Okay.
But Saucon beat him last night.
Gotcha.
Here's the controversy. All right. Catholic schools have a rule with the diocese that if the other team has a girl, they have to forfeit.
I see.
Saucon Valley was aware of this.
Yep.
So at 106 pounds, they put a girl out to wrestle. Notre Dame had to forfeit. If Saucon would have sent their starter out, which was a male, Notre Dame kid would have pinned the other kid.
Gotcha.
So it's a 12-point difference. It's +6 for Notre Dame versus +6 for Saucon, so that equals 12 points in the team score. Saucon wins by 3 points.
Gotcha.
Apparently, Saucon also did something else. Anyway, I guess the teams had to be separated. I didn't go, but I just hear it, and just talking to people too. The teams had to be separated. The Notre Dame coach left afterwards with the team and didn't shake hands.
Okay.
Cops were involved.
Okay.
You going? So this is
all right.
So
I see where you're going with
remember
this.
that high school thing where I was like, Jesus, these kids are 15. It's kind of happened last night there. How did we get on that, by the way?
I'm not really sure.
Coaching, wrestling. Oh,
What do you think
coaching.
yeah.
The differences in coaches.
Yeah.
When
What
you
about
asked
the
me,
ethics in that? What do you think about the ethics?
all right, so
of
let's
that?
talk. You want my opinion on
Yeah,
it? Because
I do.
this is new.
Yeah,
all
I
right,
do.
So,
I love sports ethics.
so this is it. Number one. So going back a couple years, Bethlehem Catholic, they had a team
Okay.
that was awesome, and they were recruiting, and everybody in the public schools was mad. This guy Omar Parada, he was at Palisades. He was pissed.
Okay.
Palisades was okay, but like
Yeah.
they were the 8th seed, Bethlehem Catholics the 1 seed. They were going to get smoked. He just decided, say, I'm going to forfeit every match and kind of say, F you.
Okay.
So,
Wow. Okay.
Right. That was his thing. He's like, these rules are stupid. They're not set up. This is maybe his opinion, and I'm maybe putting words in his mouth, but it was kind of like, system's flawed.
Yeah.
Instead of sending my
yeah.
kids out to get their ass whooped, we'll protest it and just forfeit them all. He got suspended by the Pennsylvania PIAA
PIAA. Yeah.
and might have gotten fired immediately then from Palisades.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one side of it. Last night, so here, I think sportsmanship, this is going to sound bad, is I think people value it. They have a thought of what sportsmanship is.
Okay.
And shaking hands after it, is that a sign of good sportsmanship if you act like a total, like, jackass all the time? You know, it's like...
I see your point. Yeah, I see your point.
So they got mad and they walked off the mat. So one coach in one moment was emotional and he decided to leave instead of shake hands. I don't think it's that bad unless like it becomes like a recurring trend.
A recurring
you know?
trend, yeah.
But you know when you get super fired up. This guy gets heated. Like
Yeah,
the match I saw
yeah,
him,
yeah.
he had
He
his
gets
hands rolled up. He's jumping and like going nuts. The guy's pretty intense, their coach. So in that moment, being pretty
Okay.
emotional, all of this stuff's going on. Teams had to be separated. Maybe his mind's like, let's get the heck out of here.
Let's just get the kids out of here. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I was to say you weren't
So
there.
sorry.
Yeah.
Did that answer your question
I
at
think
all?
so. I think so.
But
Yeah.
it was about morals and ethics.
Yeah,
Morals
I'm
in
just wondering
sports?
what that teaches the kids. I'm sure.
Which side of it? Because Salkin has a little
That's
thing
true.
with
They
sending
got
the
a
girl
thing.
out.
They got their own thing going on. Yeah, I just think on either side, maybe they just didn't.
And there was another thing. This kid, state champ as a freshman, one of the top freshmen in the whole country, might have been the top freshman in the country. He is a beast. So there's like with wrestling, you could juggle your lineup.
Okay.
So if you wrestle 126,
Yeah.
you're allowed to wrestle up one weight class.
Okay.
So at each weight class, a coach has a decision where if they have 2 kids, 3 kids, they have options.
Yeah.
But they can only bump a kid up one weight class. So anyway, this kid that's awesome, sometimes teams just forfeit to the awesome kid and move their. So if I have a good kid at 132, they have a good kid at 132, but their kid is so good he's going to pin my good kid.
Yeah.
Like we'll forfeit to him, bump our 132 up.
Up. Yeah.
And then we'll take our chances with him at one weight class up. He's probably going to get a win for us, yada, yada, yada.
Okay.
So they sent a kid out that was injured, Salkin, to wrestle this awesome kid. And then I think the way I read it, see, I could be wrong. My facts could be
I
wrong.
was gonna say you
They
better
said
watch
that,
your facts.
I know. Well, they said that they said it was an injury default. So they either forfeited right
Okay.
away or the match started and then they just said, I can't continue.
Okay.
And then forfeited that way because then that prevented the other team from bumping their good kid
up.
a weight.
Okay, gotcha.
So, I mean, there's stuff with that too where like the Notre Dame side of it's
Is
not
that
happy.
normal to strategize that way?
Is it normal to forfeit to a good kid? Yes. Is it normal to lock them in? So it's like, once the kid's out on the mat, there's no juggling of the lineup.
Right, gotcha.
He can't go back and you can't switch.
Can't switch, right.
So it's like, I've never saw that if that's kind of what happened, but I need to verify that. So maybe I should get my facts
Get your
straight.
facts straight before we start talking about it.
Yes. But anyhow.
Anyhow.
So there's forfeits. So I'm just saying the Notre Dame side of it wasn't happy because something happened at that weight class. It could be what I just said, or maybe I heard a rumor. So, and the way I read it in the paper, read as if they sent the kid out. It said injury
Knowingly,
default.
yeah.
Medical default is different than a forfeit. A
Right,
forfeit is
okay.
don't send anybody out.
Yeah.
A medical injury default is somebody goes out, they get hurt in the match,
And then they're
and then they're
out.
done.
Yeah, gotcha.
So there's ethics there too.
Yeah.
I brought it up to somebody that doesn't know the sport about sending the girl out, and they were like, "What? Like that's crap." And I was like, "So who knows? One
knows?
side didn't shake hands, the other side played inside the rules, maybe, sort of."
Hmm.
Why? What's your thoughts? Are you a wrestling fan?
No, but
Oh,
I'm
so then
intrigued.
Being
I'm
a
totally
not
intrigued.
wrestling fan, what do you think of all this?
I think it's, like you said, I think it can go both ways. My biggest concern is, as somebody that's, like I said, been through sports, is that I was at least, whether I had good coaches or bad coaches, I always had coaches that had good ethics.
Yeah.
And it was always about look, there's going to be a time in life down the road when you're an adult when you can make the decision of, I'm not going to shake that person's hand. But you are not old enough at this point to, you don't have the wisdom at this point to understand that difference. It's all emotion. There's no logic involved in it.
Yeah.
I think like at that age in your teens and younger and even in grade school, you're completely emotionally driven. You don't use your sense of logic. So, I think kids will tend to lean towards what their coach is doing, what they see. And even if the coach is caught up emotionally, they've lost sight of the fact that their students and their kids do not have the mental capabilities to take their emotions out of it and look at things objectively. So all they're doing is reacting to what the coach is doing.
No, you're right.
So they don't take a lesson away from that. They're just going like, well, the coach did it, so I'm going to go.
And the coach should be detached to the point where he doesn't have the emotion. He can't. I guess he can't let his emotion get in the way, right?
I think you can have both. Yeah, I think you can have both.
He's got to see the bigger picture.
You have to see the bigger picture.
So all the kids could want to leave, but he's got to be like, hey guys, no.
Yeah, because I think you need to understand that no matter how emotionally involved you are, you're still the role model for those kids.
Yeah.
So I think you can go either way.
No, I think that's 100% right. But I also still don't fault him in the sense that
he
could have total regret.
If there were kids out on the mat and they were like throwing punches and stuff, like cops were involved, like it would probably be time to like just exit the building. It was probably time to exit the building.
But even people can make mistakes, and maybe
I don't
it's either you stand by a decision or you don't.
It's not like his job should be on the line because he walked out of a gym.
I don't think it is.
No.
I do not think it is. Not in this case. Yeah, so there's that part of it. So there we go. We just got into something that I wasn't expecting.
We're totally off the rails here.
What else is going on with wrestling? Anything good that we could talk about? No, I don't think so.
No. Okay, cool.
So we got your sports in, kind of.
Yeah.
We went to tennis in college. How were you as a player?
I was okay. Like I said, I was totally okay. I had no finesse. I totally got by on strength. I played both singles and doubles. I was a much stronger singles player. Like I said, just because I was strong and fast and doubles, it requires a little bit more communication. And like I said, I wasn't, I didn't, it's not like I was traveling, playing tennis and like constantly in tournaments and was able to really hone in on my skills. So, I got by. So I got
by. Communication.
Yeah.
Communication's major. Struggling with communicating on the court, though.
I know, right? Yeah.
Wait, so what happens there with doubles tennis then? Like where, in terms of, is it like nonverbal communication or is it both?
No, it's totally. It's like verbal communication, nonverbal communication. It's understanding your partner. I think the other thing is I was friends with everyone on the team, but they went through the whole recruiting process together and like I walked on. So I was kind of like late to the game. I also ended up my first 2 years playing with seniors. And as a freshman playing with a senior, you don't really have a lot in common at that point. So I haven't really, immersed myself in the college experience at that point. So trying to, really bond with, I'm coming in as a freshman, as a senior, they're on their way out of college, they're mentally clocked out. I'm like just getting immersed in it. I think it was just hard. Too. But like I said, I got by. I totally got by.
How different were you? I mean, I think females, they kind of like physically mature a little quicker than like a male.
Yeah.
So like in a male sport, say that I would watch, say we'll use wrestling again, like an 18-year-old freshman compared to a 22-year-old senior is like night and day. Was it kind of like that with tennis in the sense?
No. It wasn't in the sense that our physical skills were that much different. It's totally, it's a mental game. It's like mental. It's all mental with women's sports, I think. And I'll admit, I was a little bit of a head case. I was definitely a mental athlete. Like I was.
Head case.
Yeah, like I think a lot of
spiking rackets.
No. Not like raging spiking rackets, but I mean like you get inside your own head.
Yeah.
And you overthink. I was definitely an overthinker. I should put it that way, not a head case. I was an overthinker. So I was my own biggest enemy a lot of times in sports. And like we just talked about, the maturity level. I didn't have the maturity yet where I had come into my own in athletics. Like I said, because I bounced around so much, then I'm coming out of being completely burnt out. I'm like, oh, sure, let's try and play tennis.
Yeah.
And it was more of, I walked onto the tennis team after being in college for 1 week, as a way to meet people and as a way to be involved in something.
I play basketball. I can figure tennis out.
That's kind of was my approach to it. It's like I'm just gonna go see if I can make this work. So and ended up playing first doubles walking on, but
cool.
Yeah, so I was kind of like the muscle behind. All my other partners were always tennis players. I was just kind of the muscle behind it.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you still play tennis now?
My husband and I will occasionally play together.
Do you beat him?
No, I cannot return his serve.
Too much power.
I can't return his serve.
Well, you told me about his his stature. What is he?
He's 7'1".
7'1"?
Yeah, my husband is 7 feet tall.
What's his background?
He is a basketball and volleyball player. He played at Penn State.
Which sport?
Basketball and volleyball. Yeah.
Is he from around here?
He's from North Jersey, New Jersey.
Cool.
Yeah. So, we when we play together, and we're both very competitive people, so it gets a little. I get very frustrated with him. He gets very frustrated with me.
So you can't hit a serve.
It's a great experience. It's a fun experience. Yeah.
For different reasons.
Real bonding.
Probably,
so bonding.
Different reasons probably than me not being able to handle that 45.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much different experience. Yeah,
I would think so.
We do a lot of other things together. Run. We've done a couple of obstacle course races. Some of the crazier races. So yeah.
So I mean, well, let's kind of pivot then. So you've got 2 children.
We do have 2 kids. Yeah, we have a 4.5-year-old little boy and a 2-year-old little girl.
And you're both competitive.
Both competitive. Yeah.
Do you see that in your children?
Not yet. Our daughter, I think, is going to be a bit of a bruiser. She's she's going to be our competitive one. Our son's a little bit more mild. He's our thinker. He likes to think things through. I think he's going to be our thinker. She's just going to be, think about it later.
So what about things and activities? I mean, your husband was, you said volleyball, basketball.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
You played all kinds of sports. What do you got them? What do you got them getting into?
Yeah, what I get them into, I get them out in the mud. Is what I get them into. So my son just started parkour.
Yeah.
We tried parkettes, the little kinder gym classes. He was into that. He liked just running around, bouncing around, the inflatables and jumping on stuff. He plays soccer.
What's that looking like, soccer for a 4-year-old?
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny.
Yeah,
it's kind of funny. It's definitely like just kids running around the field. No one has, any idea which direction they're supposed to go.
Is there a lot of hands involved or no? Do they catch the ball or anything?
No, they're actually pretty good with that, to say. But there's definitely times where kids just sit down and are just picking the grass.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that might not be for them.
Yeah, if an airplane goes overhead, all the kids stop. Oh, an airplane,
So that still goes on at age 4?
At age 4,
okay.
yeah.
My daughter, we were driving last week, and she was like, I don't know what she was saying. It was like, plane. And then,
you have to stop.
And I was like, Emily, how did you see that plane? It's like way far
up
away.
there. Yeah, I don't know. They've got like a sixth sense for that. Both of my kids do for airplanes. Yeah, they totally dig it.
Interesting.
Yeah. I think that's all kids really like airplanes. They're fascinated by them. Yeah.
Right, cool.
Yeah.
What about down the road here? I mean, how are you going to handle them in terms of what they want to do? Are you just going to try to nudge them into one thing here and there? Or like?
Yeah, we're kind of both. I guess we're going to do both. We're going to nudge them to do something. My kids have to do something. I want them to do something physical. I think that's really important for your health and well-being, is just being active. The whole a body in motion stays in motion. So we, honest to God, do not care what they do. If my son wants to play the flute, let him play the flute. But that doesn't mean that when he gets home from that, he can't stay inside. It's then time. That's not your thing then.
Yeah.
It's time to get outside, get some fresh air, go run around, go do something. Yeah, I mean, he's taken an interest in soccer, but like I said, he's 4.5, and that's really the only sport that's available to him right now. He's not old enough to try anything else.
Yeah.
So yeah, my husband's obviously hoping that they want to play volleyball.
Volleyball.
Yeah, he's hoping that he wants to play volleyball. And
when did they start that, do you think, age-wise?
I think it's like 8 or 9.
Oh, right.
Yeah, I think you have to be a little bit older before you can start volleyball. And I'm all for it. Whatever they want to do is totally fine. We just definitely have you have to get out and you got to get moving. I think it's really important to expose your kids to all sorts of things early. I mean, my son at the end of the day after dinner, he's like, "Mommy, can we go do some animal flow together?" And all he wants, does he do it right? No. Does he do the moves correct? No. But he just wants to roll around the floor and kick his legs around and jump around. And
yep.
I think that's just important, just to keep him moving.
Yeah.
So and to have an interest in things and have them see you doing things, so they understand that it's not just kids that have to do this. This is a lifelong process of moving and taking care of yourself.
Cool.
So, yeah.
So you're going to just play it out and see how it goes?
Play it out and see how it goes. Yeah, what about you? What about your little girl?
We're getting her going. No, I don't know.
I was going to say, she's going to be on the mat.
What does she do?
She's going to be a wrestler.
I rough her up. She's got this method where she takes her forehead and grinds it into my head. Then she does it to her mother, and her mother doesn't like it and wonders why I taught her. I'm like, I didn't teach her that. That's
just her thing.
That's self-taught.
It's just her thing, yeah.
She's got a big head, too, so she digs it in there.
Yeah.
So she does I think she's kind of into music, to be honest. She likes playing with a lot of instrument stuff, but
cool.
I don't know. We just do she was jumping around yesterday at I think it's called Gym Time. It's in, I think I was telling you, Sullivan Trail, Easton area, bouncing around, walking on a balance beam. What else does she like? Pushing exercise balls around.
Yeah, I think they just like to move now. Like to move stuff
books,
around. And,
books a lot.
Yeah.
So climbing the stairs is always a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so who knows? I don't really care. And I was glad to have a daughter because just coaching male sports, and I was like kind of done.
With
like I don't want to
young guys,
like do the football thing and the wrestling thing, and I'm
Yeah.
like whatever. I'll just learn some new things.
How do you feel about being a coach for your own kid?
So
Think
I
that's
imagine.
something you want to do?
Do I want to do it? I don't know. I'll probably do it just because I'd be like frustrated.
with anybody else coaching them?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I probably will coach. Yes.
Okay.
What? I don't know, but
Whatever she's into.
I guess I got to be careful. I probably will coach.
I
but
feel like I
don't
just
know.
got him started on
What
something
am
that he
I-
hasn't thought about
No,
yet.
I have, and it's like my reasoning is not good. It's 'cause
Okay.
I'd be like, well, like I think we could do something different. I could see like a practice and then be like, oh, well, I think we could do something different.
You should do something
But then
different.
it's like, where do you,
yeah.
you gotta, like,
where do you draw the line with that?
Right.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be 10 other parents on the sideline that'll be like, well, I think I could do something different.
Something different
so it
too,
doesn't
yeah.
mean
Yeah.
that, like we're all right and we should all do it. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. Why? What about you?
I think so. Yeah, I think I could do it. Young, definitely when they're young.
Yeah.
When it comes to them being like really competitive and really getting into their sport, it's time for me to step away. I also think it's important for your kid to have a coach and a role model and somebody that's not you, so that I just feel like they have to look up to you because you're the parent.
Yeah.
If you're a good parent, they have to look up to you just because you're the parent. But I just think it's really important for them to see like there are other people that do different things and approach things different way. Then it's okay to look up to other people and to see their method and to see the way they do things. So to have other people that they rely on and count on.
Yes.
So yeah, so there'll be a time for maybe like little league stuff. Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
My husband and I would love to do that, but not when they get older.
Well, I think the good thing potentially is if they get involved in stuff that you never got involved in, that you could still like help and not be like the main person.
The main person.
Like
yeah.
I could go in there and like warm them up and do whatever to get them going
Yeah.
for practice, but then it would be like
You
skill
step away.
stuff, go do whatever.
Skill based. Yeah.
That maybe I could.
No, I think we're onto something now.
Yes.
There's a program
Maybe
developing.
get some.
Yeah.
Nah, yeah, I told my friends that have like young kids, I'm like, I think on Sundays we should get them in here like once a month and just set up crazy obstacle courses.
Yeah.
But anyhow, now
Yeah.
I'm thinking about this coaching thing.
We're looking around. Let's work it
The
out.
whistle.
Yeah.
All right, so we got the kids. Let's stay on the kids.
Go.
Because we talked about it beforehand.
Okay.
I asked you, like, how in depth do you get with nutrition with like people that you work with, and then you pretty much brought up that it might be a better question to
Yes,
ask, like,
about-
what do you like, what do you want your kids?
What do you want
like,
my kids to eat?
like,
What do I
what
want my kids
they
to do?
eat?
Yeah. So, because with people that ask me about nutrition, I just tell them use your common sense. I'm not a dietitian. And a lot of people, I don't know about you, but they ask me, what do you do? Like what I do is not going to work for you because it works for me.
Yeah.
Your body's different than my body, so it's I'm all about intuitive eating. I think it's really important though.
Well, how would you define that?
Intuitive eating?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're not hungry, don't eat. Like if you're hungry,
What
eat.
if I'm like hungry for ice cream at night?
All right.
Is that it or no?
All right. I think. Yeah, for sure. Like
No,
I'm all about
yeah.
vanilla ice cream with like peanut butter on it. So yeah,
I do
now
that
we're
too.
talking.
Do you ever put chocolate chips in there?
Oh, I put Ovaltine on it.
What?
Ovaltine.
Ovaltine is
It's
a
like
powder?
malt. Yeah, it's that malt powder, that chocolate.
Interesting.
It's like yeah.
Why
yeah,
that? How'd
That's,
that happen?
I think that was my dad's thing growing
Oh,
up.
back
like
in the day?
yeah, it was like back in the day. It's just like it's my thing.
I like using back in the day when it wasn't that long ago.
Long ago.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I think like an 80-20 rule. You know, like if 80% of the time
It's
you're
like
good,
80
like, yeah, I think
Ice
like,
cream 80. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like 80-20. A lot of people are like all into the 90-10 because it's a little bit more strict. I just don't think that's realistic when you're talking about like normal.
We could do like 100 and 0, but if you fail,
If you fail, then what?
Then it
what?
doesn't matter,
Yeah, then you
right?
go in like this spiral of like guilt and shame and the whole thing, and there's just no sense. It's just no way. I think everything in moderation.
what are you doing with the kids?
So the kids,
The 4-year-old, we'll say.
yeah, he's my good eater. In the beginning, definitely wasn't a good eater. You know, I feel like, I don't know about your daughter, my kids go through phases. They don't want to eat, they don't want to do this, and then all of a sudden they eat everything when they're going through a growth spurt. But
I've seen a picture of my daughter. She's a little chubby.
she's
likes-
chubby.
No, I'm just kidding.
Say, we call my daughter
No,
the
she-
chunk, so
Oh, really?
it's all good. We call her
Dude,
chunk.
There might be buddies there.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out.
Gut buddies.
How old is when is her birthday?
November. She's the end of November.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You said that.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
November, she turned 2, so she's like 4 months older.
Yeah.
How much does she weigh?
She's 38 pounds.
She's got me beat. Ours beat.
Yeah,
Alright.
she weighs 38 pounds.
Our daughter was on that trajectory, but then kind of slowed down a bit. So, is she tall then? Because you got a 7
Yeah,
foot.
she's huge.
father.
Yeah, she's huge. Both
She's huge.
She's huge. My
Wait,
son.
if we're talking percentiles, is she like?
She has her own curve. She has her own
But
curve.
like 9, like
No,
on the height
it says
too?
on her height and her weight.
Height and weight.
Height and weight, yeah. It gives it's like give you the chart.
Is
It's
this
like
a
the
record?
WHO.
Like
She
makes
has her own curve. There's actually the greater than sign, 99.99%.
Yeah.
They're like, this, this program doesn't read 100% because
What do they tell it, like growing up, or not growing up? She's freaking 2.
Yeah.
When she, like throughout the whole process, 3 months, 6 months, always like top.
She was always,
Yeah.
I mean, she was 24 inches long when she was
How about
born.
birth weight?
Yeah, she was 8'12". She wasn't that heavy. She was 8'12",
No.
which was big. My son was 9.5. He was 23.5 inches. She was almost 24 inches long. Yeah, they were big kids.
Wait,
They were-
2 feet?
Yeah, she was almost.
She was born 2 foot?
She was almost 2
Holy
feet long.
crap.
Yeah, she was like 23. And
That's pretty
yeah,
interesting.
They were big kids.
We're gonna see him like follow their trajectory
Yeah, I was gonna
through
say.
life.
Yeah,
That's cool.
so yeah, my son's really tall. He's in the on the charts, on the growth charts now with 4 to 6 year olds, and he's only 4.5, and he's still at the 99.9% percentile. Yeah, they're big kids. I mean, I come from a tall family, and my husband's obviously tall. He's 7'1", so yeah, they're just gonna be big people.
Well, I feel like kids outgrow their parents now, so.
I
That'd be tough.
really
7'1"
hope not.
would be tough to beat.
Yeah, I don't think so. Yeah, I mean,
He's gonna, like,
I bring
reset.
down the average a fair amount. I mean, I'm 5'8", but compared to 7'1", I bring down the average a fair amount.
Somebody's gonna be super tall.
Yeah. I hope it's my son. We were kind of hoping my daughter stops at about 6 foot. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, you'll probably get the opposite then. She'll be like 6'4".
Yeah. My son will be 6
He'll be
foot.
5'11".
Yeah.
Where do you get food?
Food. Anyway, yeah.
Other
what do I
than
feed
they're
these monsters?
growing,
What
they're
do I
already huge.
feed these
They were
monsters?
born 2 feet tall. So.
Yeah. So I'm really big on like this is the fuel that they have to grow off of. So
Just laughing because you call them monsters.
yeah, they're my little monsters. Yeah, so it's I hide a lot of veggies and things. Fruit's really important. Vegetables are really important. And it's hard to get kids to eat vegetables, so you have to get creative. Everything generally goes in a food processor in my house, vegetables, things like that, because I hide it in eggs.
What kind of eggs? Like you scramble them?
Yeah,
or?
I scramble them up. So actually, it wasn't that long ago, a few months ago, we were out to breakfast, and my son ordered scrambled eggs, and they were brought to him, and he didn't want to eat them because they were yellow. In his mind, scrambled eggs are green.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we did the whole like green eggs and ham thing with him to first get him to eat them, but he hadn't had yellow eggs before because anything I'd cooked had vegetables in it.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of work. I think it's a lot of work because, we talked about before we started filming about how hard it is to manage, work and parenting and do it all together and do it correctly and do it right. So it's a lot of work, especially being in this industry, trying to feed your kids the right things and do the right things and be a role model for other parents that are like, hey, I have no idea what to give them. I have no idea what to do, coming up with things. So it's a lot of work and it's a lot of time.
What about, the young one? I mean, I don't know if this is a personal question, but
Sure.
did you go the breastfeeding route with the children?
Yeah, I did. I breastfed both my kids.
Did they stop on their own or?
No. I was like, I'm done.
That's it,
Yeah. My daughter, this is another personal information. So I have Graves' disease, which is a thyroid disorder. So, and with my son, it was more of like hey, I'm done. With my daughter, it was I knew my hormones were out of control. This is where we talked about being intuitive with your body and things like that. I knew my hormones were too out of control, that it was time for me to stop.
What is, you said Graves?
Graves.
Graves, G-R-A-V.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what is
yeah.
that exactly?
So it's just a thyroid condition. It's hypothyroidism.
Is it like autoimmune?
It's
something?
autoimmune. Yeah.
Interesting.
So my immune system doesn't particularly care for my thyroid. So it causes you to be hyperthyroid. So some of the things, shakes, handshaking, beating heart, your heart's palpitating quickly, sweats, things like that.
Was that all
Yeah, I was
your entire life?
No, so I was diagnosed after my son was born. Yeah, so
Pregnancy does
and
wonders
that's
for
exactly what they
females, huh?
said. They said it was
Yeah.
just like, if you're prone to autoimmune disorders, which there's a history in my family of it, any traumatic stress to the body can trigger it. And childbirth is pretty traumatic to the body.
Yes.
So I was diagnosed after my son was born, which actually transformed how my approach to nutrition, because I actually am not on any kind of medication for it. I handle it 100% holistically, and I have since I've been diagnosed. So that kind of reframed my approach to nutrition and what the foods I put in my body and the things I put on my skin and household cleaners and the whole thing. We went pretty clean after that. So yeah, it was kind of one of those events that was like maybe in hindsight not a terrible thing. Yeah, because so it, but yeah, that's why I would stop breastfeeding my daughter is because it was out of control.
We got like similar kind of story with Marisa in the sense that like her family has autoimmune stuff.
Yeah.
They thought she might have had lupus, kind of diagnosed it, but then her numbers returned to normal and it was like whatever's going on. So, kind of did the whole thing too with eating and then also with the.
Because you try anything you can first before you go where to start taking drugs. Yeah.
But then when we went, our daughters got like in the summer. I think it was in July or August. Anyway, she had all of these like little random things going on where her inflammation in her body was like normal is like somewhere in the 6 to 7 range for like C-reactive protein. Hers was like 111. Oh. She had these fistulas. Do you know what they are? But
yeah.
She had fistulas like near her privates.
Do they know what it?
No, because she had these swelling in her legs. Then her legs were getting these rashes. Like she had rashes for months. She wouldn't even want to stand up. She's like 11 or 12 months old, and she had all these appointments kind of spread out. And then she stopped. Well, I was talking about her being chubby. Like she just stopped. She was getting like growing. A pound a week for like 10 weeks. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it just leveled out. And then the doctor was like, "Why don't you guys just go to the emergency room? We'll say it's like failure to thrive, yada yada yada." So we went for 5 days. Like we were in the hospital for 5 days, and they condensed like all of these appointments into those 5 days. But so things like ulcerative colitis and Crohn's disease, like very early onset inflammatory bowel disease. So for our daughter, she was like 15 months old when they told us this.
Wow.
We went to CHOP, we went to Boston Children's Hospital, and they were like, you know what, you can go this route with like this therapeutic dosage of like turmeric, basically curcumin. So we found this spray that we've been using, and her blood work has been totally fine. Yeah. But they wanted to put her on all of this stuff.
Oh, they want to put her on it,
but it's for her entire life then.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So we were like, let's press pause on that part of it, because they're like, if you get off this medication, if she gets off this medication, they're gonna have to ramp it up even more heavy. So like when she's 7, if we're like, well, I think she's good, and then get her off, then terrible flares happen. Yeah. So that leads us to like everything that we have to give her is like. But I'm fearful in the sense that when she's like 7 or 8, if everything is fine, and then she has like a piece of bread or something that has, like we'll get pizza, but it's like not made of flour. It's like millet and like all this other stuff, different seeds. Yeah. So if she goes to a friend's party and it's like eating pizza, she could potentially get deathly ill. Yeah. That is. So you
essentially have your 2-year-old in what's called the AIP, the autoimmune protocol.
Probably.
Yeah. So it's this diet. The AIP is a diet that any type of foods that are highly inflammatory to the body.
She's not consuming it at all.
Yeah.
No dairy. No.
Yeah. No
soy,
dairy.
corn,
No soy.
Gluten,
Yeah.
nothing.
So that's pretty much my diet. So like
Same.
no soy. No dairy. No gluten. Now gluten, I'm okay because I'm not gluten intolerant. I'm intolerant to egg, so like no eggs, no sugar. The only sugars that anybody on the AAP should have are like maybe a little bit of honey. No fruits, no nightshades.
Yeah, the nightshade.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. Yeah.
The nightshade seems to show up in a lot of stuff as not good.
Yeah, so it's just eating real food.
She loves tomatoes, which is
that's tough. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, that's
she
a
loves
tough one.
But like she literally was on a carnivore.
So yeah, I was
like
gonna say,
she swear like 80%. Like she wakes up and just wants beef and red sauce.
Because that's what she's used to. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
She's been crushing it for months. She's like, you said like, doesn't
like
they go in
Arnold
phases?
Diet. Yeah.
And she eats that and like, she eats those epic bars?
Yeah.
Like those sticks, like venison sticks? Yeah. She'll crush like meat sticks and ground beef.
At 2 years old walking around.
Yeah, I swear to God, literally was doing that yesterday when we left the gymnastic place.
That's wild.
But
now, is your hope for her though, like you said, if she's 7 or 8, you're paranoid that if you take her off of it, there's.
Well, now we're just doing like a therapeutic dose of like, which is like huge amounts. We have this spray, we hit her with that, and then give her this vitamin, like in a liquid form. Uh-huh. But the pills are like biologics, is what they wanted to get her on. Okay. So, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's all good.
Question.
No.
So she's not on a prescription currently.
Yeah, currently, right? Yeah. So kind of, I mean, the whole idea when you do diets like that, or kind of like my idea is like if I come in contact with or eat something that is incredibly inflammatory, that I am not inflamed at all, so that should I eat it, I'd only become slightly inflamed. Like the inflammation only goes from none to here, as opposed from I start inflamed and then we go into an issue. So I think the idea is that your body becomes a little bit more elastic in your ability to handle these inflammatory foods. So that when you come in contact with it, it's not an issue. It's just like, hey, I might not feel great for like 24, 48 hours, but then everything calms down again. Yeah, I think that's generally the idea when.
Is that wishful thinking, or do you believe?
No, that's totally, because I was going to say, I'm walking proof of that. Yeah, I'm totally walking proof of that.
Because I don't know who or when, but it was almost like the peanut allergy thing where it's like if you don't expose your children to peanuts when they're young, they might develop an allergy or something like that.
Yeah,
and
seafood, peanuts.
They also try to use that as an example for some of these other foods like gluten, where if you don't expose them to some of this stuff when they are young, they might have that terrible reaction when they're older.
When they're older, yeah.
So that's kind of my concern with it, is that not that I want to expose her to it because everything's going good, and if
and she's so little and she's so young. So
I think we're just gonna roll
the dice. You got
time.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Yeah.
But her body was so inflamed that like these wounds, they thought that they were like super deep. There was a surgeon involved.
Oh my God.
Like they thought they were gonna have to do surgery near her privates on all of this stuff, and then they were like, no, the wound's actually very superficial. But because her inflammation was so high in her body,
it just looked so bad.
Well, yeah, and her body wouldn't heal, so she had them for months.
Oh my gosh.
Like they didn't heal. She got her numbers down. It still took months to heal, and they're still like not. These wounds are still like not. It was like almost a year of
That's
like
crazy.
having. Like it was almost like a little abscess that just popped, and we're like, huh. And it drained, but then it never healed. And then she got this thing that they called HSP, which is like Henoch Schurline purpura, where like the purpura is just like purple splotches.
Okay.
So we went to the ER on Easter, and when's Easter? March,
April, yeah, around there.
Whatever it was. So this was like right around the. I think in like, anyway, this was like month 3 of her having these fistulas. That then this happened. So it was like then she was getting a fever every other week. Then she was getting, it was awful. She was miserable. It sucked. It was terrible.
And as a parent, I'm sure you're terrified. Yeah.
But like the blood work and stuff came back that it wasn't like, there's anything terminal or anything going on, but it was still super scary because that inflammation is like disease, creates disease. So it's like, all right, your little daughter, like, is she just gonna have this high levels of inflammation her whole life where, like even before having her, like I was trying to get that down in myself. Like I was very cognizant of what inflammation could do, and so that's where the worry comes in.
That's where. Yay, parenting.
So let's get that out. Yeah.
Like
I said before we went on the air, I was like, yeah, I really don't recommend having a child to anybody.
Constant worries, no sleep.
Yeah, go to sleep now. Yeah, let's go. So you got me, B. We're talking about like trying to train and recover optimally, and is it possible to do it as a parent of some young children? What do you think?
No, I don't think you can do optimal training as a parent unless you have an amazing sleeper. Any parent that's blessed enough to have like a good sleeper, I think, sure, your life doesn't change that much as far as your sleep goes. I am not blessed to have good sleepers.
Yeah,
my kids are terrible sleepers, so we're
Are they in their own room?
What's it? Yeah, they're each in their own room.
Cool.
Yeah, they're not. no, from day one, like get out of here, get your own space. My
They
kids
wake up a bunch?
Yeah, my kids just wake up a bunch.
And then what do you have to do?
Yeah, it's
hang out with them, talk to them, sing to them.
Sometimes.
Give them some food.
Sometimes, then my daughter, it's like laying on the floor next to her in her crib. Or my son at 4.5, he's at the age he's starting to have bad dreams. We're starting to get into that. So like, I'm scared of the dark, or I'm scared of whatever, monsters or whatever. So we're into that with him. Yeah.
I didn't know you guys had monsters.
I thought they were the monsters. I thought my kids were the monsters.
So what do? You check closets and check for monsters?
Yeah, we do the whole thing. Like we do the whole, I even went as far as I put dream catchers up to be like, buddy, look, this thing is gonna catch your
dream catchers are a game changer for sure.
Yeah,
they keep the monsters away.
They definitely do. I even went as far as putting a Swiffer next to his bed because if he had a bad dream, I just told him his dream catcher was dusty and he had to dust it, and then it works. Obviously,
that worked.
Obviously. Dream catchers don't work if
it's
dusty.
Dust.
Yeah, it's just dusty. That's why it wasn't working.
This kid's gonna be like 20.
He's gonna take his dream catcher to college. He's gonna take
like my mom lied to me when his college roommate's like, "Get that out of here."
Yeah, right. So yeah, I just don't have good sleepers. My daughter she's just never been a good sleeper. I mean, we're lucky if we get 3-4 nights a week where everybody sleeps in the night.
Yeah, we're at 0.
Yeah, it's
0
just nights a week.
For
yeah,
me, so.
Yeah. They're just up for who knows what. They just want to be near you. They just want to snuggle. They're going through a growth spurt. They're getting a tooth. Who knows what it is? They're hungry.
Sometimes my daughter's looking for pancakes.
Pancakes.
She's a fan of the pancake.
Pancake. Yeah, they're pancakes
beef,
in our house.
Yeah.
Beef in the middle of the night.
So call for it. We don't know who's giving it to her. More beef. And we're like, I don't know, Em.
It's 2 a.m., dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any sirloin available.
We'll give you a piece of beef jerky. So it stinks, really. Yeah, we're like,
Yeah,
just
it's
the whole
tough.
process is
Yeah.
like not ideal.
So yeah, you're trying to keep yourself in shape and continue to train on your own
You have to.
on lack of sleep. So yeah, I think that's where it's important, you know, as a parent that's active or an athlete, to use your intuition. You know, if you're on 4 hours of sleep, it's probably not a good idea to try and PR in the gym that day. It's like you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna end up, like we just talked about, inflammation. Like, good Lord, can you imagine the inflammation after trying to PR on 4 hours of sleep the next day? So yeah, I don't think it's possible as a parent with young kids to
So,
peak.
intuitive training, maybe.
Yeah.
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 I think that's what you have to do, right?
I think that's what you have to do for sure. Yeah. So, you know, and I try and drill that in a lot of times. I don't know. You probably don't train a lot of moms, do you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you do?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Early morning.
Yeah, early in the morning.
Before they have to go to work before the kids are up.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like, and that's the time you try and drill it in with them. A lot of moms have, you know, a hard time getting themselves back in shape, or they're trying to get themselves back in shape, or, you know, something like that. And it's just like, hey, it'll come. It'll come. The value of sleep, though, you know, that's so important that once you get to that stage where your kids sleep a lot more, then it'll come. Then it'll come. But all in time, you know.
Yeah.
So.
It's also just to like kind of be happy with whatever you're doing.
Whatever you're doing,
like,
yeah. It has to feel good,
like,
yeah.
The thing
Yeah.
that stinks is that there's like a creation of like what you think you should be, and or you compare yourself, and you get kind of discouraged by it. But if you're like showing up for workouts every day, and well, not every day, but every appointment, and making improvements, like what's wrong with getting better?
Getting better, right? Do you think social media is taking a play in that, where there's this pressure
Yeah, but I don't know if we're talking about in the same demographic with parents. I imagine so.
I think so. I think because I think a lot of moms are influenced by
that celebrity mom.
That celebrity mom that's 6 days after having a baby has her, you know, a bikini and her six-pack back.
It's overrated.
So, I was gonna say,
Jesus.
like, I just feel like that's a huge influence now, and like, you know, we talked about, like, that's not reality. That's not. You know, that's not what actually happened. That mom is getting sleep. That mom's getting the proper. You know, you're not getting sleep. You're not. You know,
nobody's making you.
No one's
meals.
making your meals and taking care of your baby for you and stuff. So I just, you know, I think maybe social media has done. You know, it's a tool, but I think that's maybe one of the downsides of it is, you know, affected the way people have approached training post kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even like, there's a whole world of stuff that goes on that I don't even know about with like some of the high school kids and stuff that come in.
Yeah.
Like there's like, I don't even know.
On social
what
media.
What it's going to be like. Yeah. Like tend to like, or whatever, even maybe younger, but like there's like a group, a generation that is like, potentially could be very messed up psychologically.
I think you're right.
Yeah, it's weird. And it's easy to fall into the trap of just being on there too. Like even if you're not like comparing to yourself, it's like you go to your phone for like, oh
everything.
Yeah, I was gonna text my mom to see if she could like watch Emmy, and then you're like looking at an Instagram thing.
Yeah,
like,
then the next thing you know, 15 minutes just went by. And you're just still like, oh, I haven't picked my head up yet.
I forgot to text my mom.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what were you just doing on your phone? I was like, I don't know. Actually,
are you pretty aware of your phone time when you're with your daughter? My husband and I try and be really careful with, if our kids are around and we're at home, we're present with them and our phones are away, because we don't want our kids to think that there's value in the phone.
Yeah, we actually don't even have cable.
Yeah, neither do we.
So the only thing is music. I have Amazon Music.
Yeah, that's it. We've got Spotify, and that's about it.
I mean, she's all about music. But she'll go to my parents or something. Like, she actually loves football.
Okay, yeah.
So
my son likes to watch golf. So
I have this
cool.
app. She sees ball. She's like, ball.
Yeah.
And like does this weird thing with her hands, and we're like, you can watch. But then it'll be like 10 minutes later, and she's like, oh, done, ball. We're like, all right, cool. And we'll turn it off.
Yeah, because you haven't put value in screen time.
But the other week, I went to go pick her up at my parents', and she was eating chips. Sweet potato like chips, like Terra. Do you ever have those?
Yeah, yeah.
It's like Terra's the brand or whatever.
Yeah.
They're good. But anyway, she's eating these chips that she likes and is watching football with my dad on the couch. I'm like, Emmy, it's like 8:45. I'm like, Jesus.
There she is.
Like all excited watching ball, and then like looking at us and like pointing at the TV.
Like, look what I'm doing, Dad.
Like, all right, I'm cool. But for some reason, she got into football, and it's not me. Like, I don't.
They just picked it up, yeah.
I don't know how.
I don't know. I think they just kind of get a thing. Like I said,
it's probably entertaining to watch.
Entertaining to watch, yeah. Like I said, my son likes to watch golf. I don't really know where he. He's really he likes to watch.
That's a tough one to figure out. Tennis, I can't understand. Maybe.
I don't know. He doesn't like to watch. He likes to watch golf. Yeah, he gets pretty jazzed up about it. I'm not really sure how that happens.
TV's overrated.
Yeah, for sure.
What about if people are like, hey, I watched 12 episodes of I don't even know.
Whatever.
Show, Walking Dead over the weekend.
Yeah.
And then you and you train them. What is your answer to that?
All right. All right. There's I don't know. I guess you kind of have to they're clients, so they're gonna do it's their life. They're gonna do what they want. But it's like, all right, then it's time to work today.
Yeah.
Then it's time to work.
Right, that's a good way. That's a good answer.
Yeah,
I mean that's steal that from you.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. You rested then. Now you should
well
be
rested.
Yeah, you're
definitely
well rested.
well rested.
Yeah, definitely well rested.
Recovery.
Yeah.
We're talking
So,
recovery.
Yeah. We're gonna have
good?
peak performance today.
So some people are like, oh, I missed the gym for 8 days. I'm like, I'd say you're well rested.
You're well rested. That's exactly
it.
it. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, there's not any value in that, and people that just go, I need a mental. I think being in here as much as a mental game as much as it is a physical game. So maybe sometimes your body mentally and physically needs the break, but
there's some good stuff out there to watch. I don't watch it much.
Yeah.
Even there's some good movies and stuff. I always enjoy them.
Enjoy them, when you get to them. Yeah.
Not very common.
No.
Or they don't happen too often, which is unfortunate, but whatever.
Yeah.
Life goes on.
Are you a binge watcher? If you get into something, will you binge watch? Yeah. No.
I'm trying to think. Even no, I just listen now. So at nighttime, I listen to audiobooks, but they're irrelevant ones.
Okay. Yeah. So that you can
so I'll still get my sports fix per se, but it'll be this is not going to sound entertaining at all to you, potentially. But I'm listening to the history of the heavyweight boxing champion.
Okay, cool.
So it's if I fall asleep, it doesn't matter if I miss 20 minutes.
That's totally fine. Yeah, it's cool.
And I've just been just falling asleep very easily. So
okay.
I do that. I like that. I like stories better. I've come to learn, listening to a story or reading a story. Yeah, listen all the time.
Yeah.
All the time.
Who's your favorite?
Well, I listen to the three people that I listen to the most are Joe Rogan's.
Yeah, I like
Jocko's.
him. Yeah.
Jocko Willink and then Jordan Peterson.
Okay.
Do you know those guys?
I know Joe Rogan and Jordan Peterson. Yeah.
Jocko is the Navy SEAL dude that wakes up at 4:30.
Okay.
You see him in the news probably.
Okay.
This Navy SEAL wakes up at 4:30.
Okay.
He's a leadership guy now, so he was a Navy SEAL for 15 years, but now he meets with companies. I'm like, oh, cool, I'm going to go to one of his musters. And they're $1,000 a pop, and he's selling them out 5,000 tickets.
Okay. Was it cool?
I didn't go because it was $1,000.
You're
so I was like, oh, $150 maybe my max for that day. For a one-day thing, I was like,
whatever you're saying, I can listen to on your podcast. I don't need to spend.
Yeah, or his 4 books that he has out there, bestsellers.
Yeah.
But no, he's just his thing is his probably main mantra is discipline equals freedom.
Okay.
So it's if you have the discipline to get up, work out, those moms we were talking about, you'll have freedom to do whatever you want.
Do whatever you want.
Of the day.
Yeah. Put your time in, and then the rest
so
of the day's your own. Cool.
Stuff like that. Do you like Jordan Peterson?
I've only listened to 1 or 2. Yeah.
He's an interesting guy, but he's into the darkness, the dark side of things, and this is totally depressing stuff. But he's you know what? This stuff, there's evil. He has this theme of evil.
Okay.
Evil exists in this
world.
This is
probably why I didn't get into it because I was
some people. But it's evil exists out there, and we have to be aware.
Okay.
And that evil that's out there, we could become that if we're not careful.
I think there's definitely truth to some of that. Do you think there's truth to that?
I think there's truth to all of it.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
we're going to talk conspiracy theories next.
What's the craziest conspiracy you believe in?
I don't know that I believe in any of the crazy conspiracies. There's a lot of them that I find incredibly entertaining. And there's a lot of people that I'm just ooh, that's just so far out there that flat earthers. I can't get on board. I can't get behind that one.
One of the go-to questions here to try to get somebody to talk is to ask them. These are primarily.
Do you believe
kids.
the Earth is flat?
No. What do you think is more likely to exist, aliens or ghosts? Somebody always has an opinion on that.
What's your opinion?
What is more likely? I don't know. I'm totally
I think aliens probably is more.
It's a safer bet.
It's
but then I also tell the story I saw the ghost once.
Get out, really?
I think I did. But yet I don't believe in ghosts. I thought I saw something once in college.
I don't think it's impossible that ghosts exist. I think it's highly unlikely.
Very unlikely.
But I don't know everything, so I'm not going to say that 100% that is not true. I think it's really likely that aliens exist or some other form of life. I mean, just think about how the enormity of the universe.
Yeah.
We're not the only solar system that looks like ours. So if there's another Earth out there, there's probably life on it.
That's a common answer.
Yeah.
I think that's what people are usually
go with the safe bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good. I don't know any other good conspiracies.
Were you scared when you saw this ghost?
No, I was in college, so I might have just been
I was going to say, were you
asleep.
sober or half asleep? Or?
I don't know. People think the place that I live currently is haunted, but I haven't experienced it yet. So flat Earth, you're out on.
I'm out
for
on.
the record.
I'm out on flat. You
The
can't
record,
sell
let the
me on
record
that
be
one.
known. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to. I like the government stuff, so I did watch something once on Netflix that was like 1950s.
Okay.
What the heck was it called? Long story short, they were using LSD to see if they could brainwash hostages in other countries. So it's like the Soviet Union, this scare's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So they were using these drugs on government employees to see if they could get them to be open up about it.
Okay.
One guy decides to jump out of the 14th story and die, but he may have been nudged out there. So there's this like
The whole
crazy conspiracy
theory,
because there's like a CIA manual on like if you're going to assassinate somebody, this is how you do it. And it was literally what happened to that guy. And it was written like 2 years prior. So the family of this guy is like, wait a second.
Yeah.
So like 20 years later, they figure out like, whoa, my dad was a part of this program because they just said that he died of a suicide. And then this guy, like this one son, like went to Harvard and was like super bright and just was like dedicated his whole life to it.
Okay.
What is the answer that he got? Now he's like 70s.
He probably didn't get one.
He
probably didn't get one.
No.
Yeah.
But
he probably didn't get one.
Like I'll get into that maybe occasionally.
I mean, the conspiracy theory like that, I can get behind. Because I always think any theory, there has to be a little bit of truth to it.
Like the flat Earth.
Yeah, no, I mean, definitely not with that one. Definitely not with that one. But yeah, but all these maybe government conspiracies, there has to be like an element of truth that sparked the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, to just imaginatively, make that up. People are using LSD and like, there was a manual and the whole thing. There has to be an element of truth.
There, yeah.
There's something, yeah.
And they were like, it was like, hey, if, other officials in other countries died of falls as well.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
And like the same time span from like 1956 to 60. Yeah.
Floors were very slippery during that time. Yeah.
It's very easy to fall out of 15.
Yeah.
And it was like there was like a prerequisite where it's like it has to be 12 stories or above.
Otherwise, they might survive.
Yeah. Like
the survival rate at this point. I wonder how they figured that out. Like, who was going to test that theory?
No, seriously, some poor people in some crappy country probably. Well, that was a good topic to talk about.
Fitness podcast.
So what
people
else?
jumping out of buildings.
No, you know what? I just kind of talk about whatever. So
yeah. Okay. Cool. Good stuff.
So we got that out of the way. The conspiracy theory stuff. Should probably maybe talk about animal flow.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
So all right. So let's talk about now. What are you doing?
Okay. So right now, I'm training at a couple different places. I do a tribe program at Seal Fitness.
That's you.
Yeah, I'm part of the tribe program.
Explain that so I could get an understanding.
Okay, so it's a pretty good program, especially for people that are new to fitness. It's a progressive program. It's a small group training program, so you're getting a little bit more out of it than you would in necessarily a group exercise class. There's a couple different kinds. There's a fit one. I particularly instruct the core class. Fits, think like, it's a high intensity, interval training.
Like stations?
Yeah, it's just stations. Each class is different. You go for time, you'll go for reps, you'll go for, whatever it's a program. So whatever the program dictates. Mine's core, so it's all about stability and mobility and strengthening, essentially your trunk. Is what I like to call it. I don't like to refer to it as a core because it's your trunk. There's a lot more involved to it than your abs. So I do that. I do the tribe program, and I teach a couple mobility classes.
Well, explain the animal flow.
Yeah, animal flow.
Maybe how you even got into
that.
that.
So, that's interesting. Someone actually not that long ago asked me what my first exposure to animal flow was, and I don't remember. I really don't remember. It was probably a couple years ago, and it was probably someone doing something on Instagram. I was like, wow, that's really cool, and that looks like it'd be right up my wheelhouse.
Yeah.
So
this is coming from somebody that's probably done a good amount of like Turkish get-ups and all that
a ton of Turkish get-ups, so many Turkish get-ups.
Kind of on the ground and like done a lot of stuff that involved the hips.
Yeah, and a while ago I was at a point where, I just wanted to try things. So like I tried running for a while, and I ran a half marathon at 14 weeks pregnant. And I wanted to lift really heavy. Yeah. So I set some PRs in the gym, on deadlift and squat. Not while pregnant, no. I didn't set the PRs while pregnant.
That'd been cool.
Yeah, though. I still did have, at 38 weeks pregnant, I still did have a 205 deadlift, though.
What is your best ever?
305. Yeah.
Like a straight bar?
Straight bar, yeah.
Cool.
Straight bar, yeah.
I want to cut you off for a second and go with
that.
Like the importance, like where does strength training fit into your hierarchy as say you have had a run of kettlebells. Are you still heavily involved in kettlebell stuff?
Totally.
All right.
Totally.
So you got kettlebell training, which could turn it. There's definitely strength involved in that.
Totally. Yeah.
There's also conditioning that you could use that for.
Yeah.
Then there's like barbell
Yep,
strength
barbell
training, like
work,
the
yeah.
stuff, like that one program I was talking about is like, the power lifts, bench, deadlift, squat, whatever.
Yeah, those are your power
But then
moves,
there's like animal flow.
Yeah. Okay.
So what the heck does
Where does strength training fit into all that?
First off, somebody that's like 35 and wants to get fit.
Yeah.
Where do you
send
them?
start? I'd start with the kettlebells. I would totally
Like
start.
what? Squats?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think.
Presses? One arm? Do you do a lot of one arm presses?
Yeah, I do a lot of arm. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. I like it.
Yeah.
Swing squats and presses?
Swing, squat, press, all of it. Because I think you're talking about somebody who's never been involved before. They're looking for immediate results, right? They want to see, and the fastest way I think to get somebody started is just to condition them, get their heart up, get their heart strong, get their lungs strong. Before then, you start going, all right, now you've got your breathing down. Now let's start loading it up.
Yeah.
Let's start putting some pressure to the load, so to speak. So yeah, I would totally start somebody on the kettlebells.
It's like you could build a little bit of capacity, just to kind of prepare the body for more like intense work later with the strength stuff.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the kettlebells are a lot more functional than I'd say barbell work. Barbell work requires a lot more mechanics, your proper biomechanics, which if you're somebody that's never had walked into a gym before, I don't think that's a good place to start.
You probably don't want to be doing like
you
sumo deadlifts
and things like that. If your mechanics aren't good, I think that's where CrossFit got a really bad name too. CrossFit's actually pretty cool, but I think they got these people walking in, trying to do like you said, power snatches with a barbell and had never had any experience before, so they're injuring themselves. But
even like, I don't know, people that do it, that go there and love it, still like shouldn't be doing it.
No, we gotta have a higher rate.
Some of it is still not pretty looking.
It's not pretty. Yeah, because you don't have to have good mechanics for it.
Now you just go in there and bang out the reps.
Yeah.
And there's not even rules. It's like bar to overhead. You're like, oh,
okay,
sure.
All I had to do is get this bar over my head. I'll figure it out.
Does technique matter?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. Just get it overhead.
Just do it. Yeah. But I don't think barbell work and things like that are the place that you start. I think for a lot of people, it's like, no, we start with body weight or we start with whatever. For me, if you're trying to get somebody strong in the first place, I would start is the kettlebell. I just think they're a lot more multifunctional than a barbell or, some of the other stuff. Animal flow, it's cool. It's all body weight. Anybody that doesn't know what it is, it's all groundwork. It's a quadruped workout. It's think yoga meets breakdancing. That's animal flow.
Yoga, all right.
Yeah, it's like think yoga meets breakdancing, put them together.
Two things that aren't my specialty, so I don't know.
It's all body work.
I'm just kidding.
And why it was appealing to me is I think you get, so we just talked about like building up all this strength, the kettlebells, the barbells, all this stuff, but all of a sudden you're forced to do animal flow and you go, all right, so you have all this strength, figure out how to control it. So figure out how to control your body movements. Yeah.
Cool. So what's your training like now in terms of yourself? Like, if you had to put percentages on it, like, not barbell per se, but like focus on getting strong, focus on the mobility stability part?
Yeah, so right now I'm kind of in a season of mobility stability. I kind of go through, I don't know about you, but I kind of go through cycles of, hey, I really want to run a lot, or hey, I really want to lift a lot. Right now I'm kind of in a cycle of mobility, stability, animal flow. I very rarely pick up a barbell right now. It's all kettlebells, because like I said, they're so multifunctional. They blend in the animal flow movements. You grab one.
Do you use the animal flows as like not filler, but kind of filler?
Yeah.
Set of one arm presses, and then you can.
I'll do like 10 tuck balances, which is like a handstand with your knees bent. And then jump back up, like you said, your overhead press, and then, or, the kettlebell snatch.
Is the tuck balance, that's the animal flow?
Yeah, that's animal flow.
That fold?
Yeah, that fits into that fold. Yeah.
Cool. Good to know.
Yeah. So
I probably won't be hitting
those
sets of squats.
But it's good to know. You to start doing your handstands in between.
But it's good to know. Front squats.
Front squats, and then tuck balance. Yeah. So.
No, cool. What about? What was I going to go with there? Oh, like the kettlebell stuff that you do. What are some of those exercises?
That are my favorites?
Yeah, like, so I'm like not creative at all with my personal workouts.
Yeah.
Like I front squat, I'll do hand cleans, I do chin ups, I do one arm presses, and then I do kind of whatever else I want. That's like my whole week.
With the kettlebell, that's it?
No, so like some days I might just front squat and then do like some random stuff.
Okay.
Bunch of pull-ups, go home.
And
so
go
like,
home. That's it. Yeah.
I only do the basics. I don't get creative.
Okay.
Do you?
Yeah. So
do you really vary your stuff or like?
Yeah, totally. So anyone that trains with me, they know that after I teach them something, the next thing that's coming out of my mouth that I ask them is, "What's next?" So you're in this position, right? You got a front squat.
Yeah.
What's next? What are you doing with it next?
Is
that it? Is that all you think you can do with a front squat?
In terms of
like what else?
What exercises could I do there?
Yeah, like not just in that position, but like okay, so you got this barbell in your hand, right? You've got it loaded up.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily saying with the barbell loaded up, but you've got it loaded up. What else can you do in your workout? Like why wouldn't you throw the barbell down, put your feet on the bar, do your push-ups there, maybe do some rollouts with that bar? Like everything is like what's next with the piece of equipment that you have. Like for me, that's kind of my mindset on it is what's next. So you got this kettlebell, right? Let's say you just cleaned it.
Yeah.
Why? And so like, you're working on what that day? Because it'll work on a lot of things. Buys you're working on shoulders, you're working on lats. What are you working on?
Me personally?
Yeah, because it'll do all of it.
Clean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's working all of it.
I just think of it as like a total thing, right?
Yeah. So but it's not. Like it's all it is. A clean is to get yourself in that rack position for you to move on to the next movement. So why wouldn't you from that clean lean out into a Cossack squat, go down into a goblet squat, dump it into a lateral swing? You know what I mean? Like there's always a what's next, and that's kind of the approach that I take to my fitness. Is like you're in this position, you have this piece of equipment that you're using. What's next after you've just done?
With your personal
yeah,
program,
with my personal programs that I do for myself and in my classes with my clients, it's always what's next. Start thinking a little bit outside the box, and I think that's where you start to develop this sense of body awareness, body control. You know, when they talk about a lot of this whole term functional fitness, it's like all the rage right now, it's the trend, but I think that's where you start to develop what we'd call functional fitness, is that you find yourself in this position with a piece of equipment and all you know how to do it, like you said, is front squat it, but like what else can I do with it? Is that really functional? Is that going to help you? Like if your buddy's like, hey, can you help me move this couch?
Oh yeah.
Like, is it going to help you?
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah. My front squat, hell yeah.
If I can get my front squat 5 pounds heavier, my couch moving skills are going to
be like, seriously.
Yeah.
Next is going to be picking up a Mini Cooper next, right?
Moving refrigerators.
Yeah. So yeah, that's kind of my approach to it. It's just it's always what's next. It's always what else are we doing with that? With the kettlebells, with animal flow, with why wouldn't I, do a set of side kick throughs in animal flow, which is all groundwork, next to my barbell, and then start maybe doing deadlifts, and then go down into like what they call the beast position, which is essentially like a modified plank, and hold that for 2 minutes. It's always like what's next, or put my feet on that barbell. Like what else can I do with it?
Feet on the barbell.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Now. I just like carry weights around.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Overhead, I think there's some
position,
value in that.
Suitcase carry.
There's value in that.
That'll be like my warm up with the squat.
There's totally value in that.
I'm trying to get some credit from you with my
workout
plan here.
For sure. Do you warm up? Do you cool
walks.
down?
Yeah, I do some band walks. I get on the reverse hyper.
Okay.
We'll do some single leg stuff.
Okay. Stability, mobility, yeah, like anything like
and
that.
And then I'll do like carries as well.
Okay.
Like a suitcase or a rack carry, overhead.
What's your longevity in that kind of workout?
How
like
long
when
am I
you're,
here?
I mean just like what's your longevity as far as like life goes? Like when you're 75, are you still gonna be front squatting?
Hope so.
Yeah. I hope
I could probably goblet squat when I'm 70, right?
Yeah.
So I do that on other days, but I don't know. Just
is there longevity? Do you think there's longevity to that?
With barbell squats?
No, just with like any type of like what I'd call traditional lifting.
The only one that I would say that I probably really don't need to be doing is like doing hang cleans.
Okay.
Because I'm like 34, and I'm like, I don't know. There's no real point other than for me to like
say that you can do it,
or like get 5 pounds stronger.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is what is that? That's like ego.
A little bit.
Kinda.
Yeah. A little bit.
You would agree?
We all have one. It's cool.
Front squat. There's really absolutely no reason for me to lift the weight that I do in the front squat. Zero.
It's just to say that you can do it?
No.
Yeah, but you
I'm
know
following
what?
a program.
Yeah, you are. The program says that I should be able to do it. Okay.
I was, No, then I'm actually just doing this. There's like Dan John has this kettlebell book.
Okay.
So on the off days, I just do this. I just follow that, so I don't have to think about anything.
Okay.
So what does that look like? A lot of swings.
Okay.
Some, like, he'll if he has like his stretches in there. So whereas for you, it might be like animal flow to be like, right hip flexor, do swings, left hip flexor, swings.
Yeah.
thoracic spine, swings, thoracic spine the other way, swings,
Okay.
whatever. So I'll do like stuff like that.
Stuff like that. Okay. Yeah. Those
Those are like 15 to 25 minute.
Yeah.
Not even. A lot of presses. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Complexes if I don't have a lot of time.
That's how we all squeeze it in.
Yeah.
Everybody just complexes
Like-
things if they don't have a lot of time.
Yeah.
I got 20 minutes. How much can I get in that 20
Well, I think that
minutes?
was like to
Yeah.
just keep talking about the same dude.
Yeah.
Dan John was like, yeah, my high school coach was like, hey, we're doing 3 sets of 8, but we only have 20 minutes today. You're not putting the barbell down. And it was like
Yeah.
RDL, military press, back squat, and something else. And he's like, oh, I think we just kind of stumbled onto something
Stumbled onto something
because
here. Yeah, we're onto
everybody's
something.
heart
Yeah.
rate was through the roof.
Through the roof. Yeah. That's some good conditioning right there.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah.
Probably need to do more of those too.
Yeah. What's your home base? What's your like? All right, I don't know what I'm doing next. What's your go-to?
Sorry.
Yeah, like what's going back? Like for me, going back to home base is like going back to the kettlebell.
Yeah.
What's for you? What's going back to? What's your home base?
I don't know. I just circled back to the kettlebell recently, but I
Yeah.
was really just doing. So the other dude that works at Frank is mad, and he's like, my New Year's resolution is to beat you in the front squat. so
now you got to up your game.
I'm trying to
and
stay
that's gonna
sharp.
be
No,
home
I
base
have
for a
him.
little while.
I have him. I got him. And no. So what is my home base? Lately, I've been doing a lot of pull-ups and chin-ups.
Okay.
I've realized, like growing up was a lot of pressing, so I don't really press anymore other than
Yeah.
a one-arm overhead. I get in and out of phases with like the hex bar deadlift,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I try to do like one strength, like hard strength thing, and then conditioning I probably not ideal. When it's nice out, I'll like run.
Okay.
There's a park that is pretty hilly. Or the other day I just ran up this hill a few times because I'm like, I really don't do enough conditioning work.
Cardio.
So
Yeah. Cardio work.
I do
yeah.
like running, but I don't know if long term if that's like a great thing.
Yeah, I don't
like,
think
I
that's a
don't-
great thing on your
No,
joints.
but it's like
yeah.
short. But then when I get it going, it'll be like I'll just run to this sign and back. And the next thing is like then I'm going to the next sign and back.
Okay.
And then I'm running like 4 to 6 miles, and they're like, all right,
Yeah.
this
Nice.
is not great, ideal, long term. Like
Yeah.
I
That's
don't know
not.
if I want to do this
do this
multiple
long.
times a week.
Mhm. Yeah.
My hip flexor or ankle, like groin,
Yeah.
something starts feeling weird. So that's a good question. I guess it's the front squat's the answer to everything. If I have 20.
It all comes down to the front squat.
It does. Anyhow, any other questions regarding the front squat?
No, I'm pretty
right.
set. Yeah, I know upper cal strength is out
We've
there.
got just me, really. I don't really. Everybody else does goblet squats. I'm the only one, I guess. What else, man? Training recommendation. I guess we kind of just hit that.
Yeah.
What do
Yeah.
you think the next thing is you're going to get into? We're talking kettlebells. You did some heavy deadlifts. You got into the
did.
animal flow.
I got into animal flow.
Anything else like pique your interest here? You did the half marathons.
I
You
did the
look
half
like you did some
marathon. I
running.
dabbled in yoga for a while.
Dabbled in yoga?
I dabbled in
What
yoga
kind of
for
yoga?
a while. Vinyasa yoga. I dabbled in that for a while. Yeah.
Hot yoga or just normal?
I tried hot yoga once, and no.
Didn't go well.
It didn't go well.
Yeah.
It didn't go well. My body was not a fan. It was just too hot.
Too much.
It was
Gotcha.
too much. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I don't know. Like I said,
What's next, maybe?
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know what's
asking you.
next. Yeah, I don't know what's next. I really, I don't know what's next. I'm kind of my head's totally immersed right now in this, body weight calisthenics, but animal flow season. So I'm not even to look. I don't have the itch yet. Let's put it that way. I don't have the itch yet to know what's next.
I've got an itch, and for a kettlebell
Yeah.
challenge
Okay.
that I might need your help with.
All right. What do we got?
For a couple years, I've kind of had a thought that I need to do that beast tamer.
Oh.
And,
Okay.
I'm lacking. The press is fine.
Okay.
The chin up or the pull up
The
is
pull-up?
close enough.
Your squat.
The pistol,
The
is
pistol.
like I might be 40 pounds off.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's. Yeah.
So, any advice would be nice. Do I need to do it?
Sounds like
first
we
off,
need to
Frank
start.
asked me,
Yeah.
why do you need to do that? And I'm like, no, but I just kind of
No,
want to
you
do
feel
it.
like you just.
Do I need to do pistol squats?
Yeah.
Do
that's
I
a
need?
yes.
Do I need to worry about body aching? My mobility,
What do you mean by-
mobility is
yeah.
good enough,
Oh,
but like
sure.
it's not great.
Okay.
Like I could get into the position.
I was gonna say, but yeah, my first thing was gonna be like it's probably your ankle mobility that's inhibiting you from getting that extra 40 pounds on your pistol squat.
Ankle mobility.
Yeah.
My ankles are pretty crappy.
Yeah.
Like I just got a massage and the person was like yanking on my leg.
Yeah, probably because your ankles are so tight.
My ankles are not ideal.
Yeah, and that's super important in the pistol squat.
So work on the ankle
Yeah.
mobility.
Yeah.
Do you recommend hanging out down there with a weight
Yeah, I do.
deep?
Yeah. So
How long?
hang out there with the, I don't know.
Like literally, I'm just gonna start doing them. So like,
Yeah, like
I'm gonna
5,
do
6
full
seconds.
pistol squats and then do a 5-second pause.
Yeah, get to the bottom of it, hang out there. The other thing is get to the bottom of it, your extended leg that's straight, step on it, and pistol squat in the other side. Shift your body weight through a goblet squat, right into a pistol squat in the other leg. Start pistol squatting back and forth, back and forth. Can you picture
staying in
it?
the deep squat position?
Yeah, so from your pistol squat, you're at the bottom of it, right?
Yeah.
Drop your heel,
So
slide into a
So I
goblet
have
squat.
to get this heel
Yeah.
all the way under me.
all the way under the,
And then
yeah.
switch.
Yeah, and then switch. Yeah, start working on that.
Probably won't be able to do that,
Yeah.
but that'll be it. Thank you.
Get there, yeah.
One arm press.
Beast tamer, man.
Did you do the female version?
I couldn't get the pull up. I couldn't get the
I don't
pull
think
up.
I'm going to be able to either because
Yeah, I
it's
don't
throw
think
to
the
the
pull-up.
bar they recommend.
Yeah, I couldn't get the pull up.
And then with the press, they had a weird.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was looking up the rules and I'm like, damn it, it is a pull up. I was hoping it was a chin up.
No,
but it
it's a
wasn't.
pull up. Yeah. Chin up.
Bastards.
Yes. Pull up. I couldn't get the pull up. Yeah. Yeah.
You can do the pistol.
You're allowed to twist in your press.
Yes.
Yeah, you're allowed to twist
This
in
way?
your
Or
yeah.
just that way? Or
Yeah,
both?
you're
Doesn't
allowed.
matter.
Doesn't matter. You're allowed to twist in your press.
Is it shoulder to overhead?
Yeah.
Is that the directions?
Straight. Yeah. Yeah, you're allowed to twist, but
All right, this is good stuff. I'm gonna have to start practicing that.
Yeah.
And then in your business, what's next? Well, that might have to be the theme of this one.
yeah. What's next?
So I mean, this is what you have going on right now. We got sidetracked. You
Yeah.
were talking about the Steel Fitness premiere.
Right.
You were doing the small group stuff.
Small group stuff. I also work out of Life Advanced Fitness down in Allentown. We do a mobility class there. I do a Saturday morning boot camp and a kettlebell class there. I just started my own company, 640 Fitness, so that in the future, like I said, we're in the season of like kids right now and doing all that, but I'm just getting myself set up to do some collaborations in the future with a lot more animal flow stuff.
Cool.
Yeah. So
What does that mean? 640.
640. Okay, so.
If I'm allowed to ask.
Yeah,
I
for
guess.
sure. Yeah. I was actually struggling with this for a long time. I wanted our business name, or I say our because my husband's such a big influence and inspiration for this, but I wanted it to mean that you don't have to be in a gym. You can be anywhere at any time, and you can be fit, you can be active. It can be anything. So, right, so I was struggling with this. We got all these names out there. I'm like looking in the thesaurus and all this stuff, and I'm getting really frustrated. Like 6 months have gone by, and finally I'm like, all right, anytime. And I'm like, if I ask my son what time it is, he's 4.5, and still, if you ask him what time it is, doesn't matter what time of the day, it's always 6:40. So his answer to whenever you ask him what time it is, it's 6:40.
Yeah.
So the idea of like fitness anytime, anywhere, I'm like, well, it's always 6:40 to him. I just liked the idea of being inspired by like my son and my kids, so we called it 640
Nice.
Fitness.
I like it.
Yeah.
What about, do you have like a cool logo or anything? Did you get to that point yet?
Yeah, we're at that point yet. I got a cool logo.
Nice.
There's a kettlebell in it. My 40,
cool.
the 0 is a kettlebell.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Did you guys do it on your own, or you seek out some guidance for the kettlebell? I mean, for the logo.
For the logo?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we went to a logo maker.
I know.
Yeah.
There's too much stuff going on.
It's too much stuff going on. My website is on my husband. He's actually a computer engineer, so he,
Boom.
yeah,
Nice.
so little in-house.
Check that box.
Yeah, check done.
All right.
Yeah. So
what else
yeah.
you got then? I mean, that is just going to be like, a work in progress.
it's a work in progress. It's totally a work in progress right now. I'm not willing to put the time in right now to make it a large, successful business, or even a small business, because I'm not willing to sacrifice the time with my kids' childhood.
Yeah.
It's too important to me. But I also want it to be established so that the things that I'm doing now, the collaborations I'm doing now with all these gyms in the area, and like even with you, we can put a name to it, so that I'm ready to then start saying like, hey, let's find a space, or let's do something. People already can associate 640 Fitness with my style of training. Yeah.
And we talked about it a little bit before, where like, how do you? I mean, it was like, hey, do you think you'll ever have a studio? And you're like, yeah, I don't know, whatever. You're still like not really thinking about it, but that balance between like the family and the business part.
Yeah.
I think the family should probably win out, right?
Totally, for sure. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, how do you juggle it all?
Well, I'll just say the same story that I said before, but just saw my friend's mom. That I'm in a kid that like was my friend since we were in preschool, and our families are super tight. She was like, yeah, how's the gym? And I'm like, yeah, it's like good enough. And I think at this point in time, good enough is enough. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
for
need
sure.
to.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could work all day if I wanted to, and I'm like so behind. Like I have the seminar on the 23rd, and there's still like 10. I could email like 100, well not 100, but like I've emailed like say 50 people, and there's probably another like 25 I still could, and it's less than 3 weeks away, and this lady that is like a member that is helping me organize it because that's what she does for her job. She's like always on me. She's like, she's like, that's why I never hire a coach because they hold you accountable. And I was like, oh, all right, thanks, Denise.
Yeah.
Sorry for naming you, but.
That was good. You hear this? He's not prepared.
But I'm getting there, work in progress. So how do I balance it? I don't know. I work the mornings. Ideally, I could try to, like this guy, Charles Poliquin. Do you know that name at all? He died in the last 2 years.
Know.
He was, he had, do you know that Tim Ferriss? You see him at all? This podcast?
Yeah,
he's like, yeah. He has like the 4-hour work week, and Charles Poliquin was on there, and he's like, I don't think I could ever do the 4-hour work week, but I want to do the 4-hour work day. And I thought that was like a good idea.
A good idea, yeah.
Because there's still like the other, like I'll just like even on the weekends I just get up at 5, and like our daughter, she doesn't wake up till 7 something. So I'm like, I'm just gonna get up and I'm gonna read whatever I'm reading. I'm gonna do the computer work. I'm gonna do whatever before people wake up. Yeah. And then that's that. So it's like that's like the Jocko thing too, with discipline. You know, you'd have the discipline to wake up at 5, even when you don't have to. You might have freedom later in the day to do whatever you want. So, like do podcasts.
Yeah,
when it's snowing outside on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, that's true. What's going on with that? Is that a couple hours?
Yeah.
Do you have a pick in that game?
Yeah, that we're not going. I don't. No, we're not.
Do you think you'll watch a second?
No, watch it with no cable. No, we're not going to watch it.
You can find a way.
Yeah.
No care in the world.
No care in the world. No.
I think that's the way to live.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Do you got anything else you want to add in there? I think this
this is good stuff. Cool. Thanks for having me. This is good stuff.
Coming.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm hoping we can do it again, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, awesome. Yeah. So, Robin Houston, where can we find you?
Yeah, on social media, rhouston_fitness. Is where you can find me, or you can also find me, like I said, I work out of Life Advanced Fitness. I also manage their website, so there's a bio on me on lifeadvancedfitness.com.
And then get this up on YouTube ASAP, and then it's on like Stitcher and Google Play, iTunes, all that stuff. So it'll be available.
Check us out.
Cool. See you guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.